Okay, so today I'm going to be explaining all the types of copywriting that you can get involved with. So no messing about, we're going to get straight into it. Okay, so the first one is email copywriting. Okay, and this is the one that all you guys have heard of. This is the one that's famous. This is the one that everyone's talking about at the moment because essentially the way that the revenue model works is that you can earn a lot of money very, very quickly. Okay, so what is email copywriting? So essentially it's writing emails and creating funnels. So if you don't know, there's a lot of money in writing good emails and having a good email list. If you can write good emails for a brand that gets customers clicking and keeps customers engaged with the business, that's very profitable, right? And the main people that email copywriters sell to are e-commerce brands and people selling high ticket courses or coaching, right? So these are generally like B2C businesses. Okay, so they're selling a product to customers. Okay, so the key point here is that I think this is a great copywriting type to get into, right? But I think it's the most overrated, overhyped, and oversold version of copywriting that there is. Because, like I said earlier, you can earn a lot of money in a very short space of time. So, for example, take someone who is like a high ticket, selling like high ticket courses, like, I don't know, um, like Dan Locke or someone like that, right? He's selling his latest high ticket course for $5,000 a pop. Okay. And then you approach him and you say, okay, you don't have to handle any of your emails. I will email people and get them to sign up to your course. And every single person that signs up, I'll take 1% or 5% of every sale. Okay. And then he then agrees. And then you sell a bunch of these courses like very, very quickly. And you make 100,000 in a month. And that is great. And then you go on YouTube and you tell everyone how you made 100 grand in a month. But that you did that one time, is that a sustainable business that you're continuously doing over and over again, right? And the thing is it's overhyped in that way because people think with email copywriting that you can consistently sell things like that every single month and you're going to have that recurring revenue of 100, 200 grand a month. But that isn't the reality. Okay. A good one to get into for email copywriting, if you're considering it, is e-commerce. So I've actually worked inside an email marketing for e-commerce business, right? And that worked really, really well. It was very easy work. The emails are very simple. It was pretty much just getting people to check their basket, and it was alerting them for new items, and the results were great. People really responded and it was brilliant. So I recommend email copywriting for e-commerce. And then maybe after that, you can do some high ticket selling, but don't think that that is one, achievable for a beginner, and two, that it's necessarily a sustainable business model. I think e-commerce, email marketing is a much better one. So here are a couple of examples of copywriters that you want to follow that do email copywriting. I think there's loads and loads and loads, but I think these two are the best, in my opinion. I think KJ Rainey and Matthew Morgan, or Matthew Online, they both put out really good content. I think it's really honest, and yeah, I like the stuff they do. Okay, so the second one is SEO copywriting, which is what I do. So SEO copywriting is specifically writing articles and web pages and editing web pages and just adapting web pages to drive traffic to websites, right? So I've done videos on this. My last video was actually on SEO copywriting, like my main product, which is articles. And this is generally more for B2B or more established businesses that aren't necessarily looking to get customers, but they're looking for leads, or they're looking for more expertise in their area. They're looking for dominance in a particular industry. And that's where I come in. So I think one of the things that's a little bit different about SEO copywriting, email copywriting, is that it's a little bit more tricky, and it's slightly more confusing because you're selling to businesses and there isn't necessarily a return. Okay, so with email copywriting, it's very much like, okay, you will increase your customers by 60%, which is very clear. Whereas a struggle that I'm having with SEO copywriting is that it's sometimes difficult to explain to a business that, okay, you might not see any results in 3 months. and you're paying me all this money first, and I'll write all these articles for you, and it won't necessarily happen straight away. And it takes time to build up an SEO strategy. But in my opinion, it's a lot more sustainable, and you can really grow and build yourself much better as an SEO copywriter. Because the thing is with email copywriting is that you're not really learning anything. Like, you're building systems, right? And you are getting very good at emails, which is a very valuable skill. But on the downside, you're not learning any new information. With SEO copywriting, you're essentially becoming an expert. So in literally 2 years, I've become a finance expert. I'm now consulting for businesses. I'm now considered an expert. And 2 years ago, I didn't even know anything about finance. Like, I didn't know anything. And now I know enough to advise businesses on it. So I think definitely as a beginner, it's a good thing to get into, because you can build up a skill set that you can then use for other things. So if you decide, I don't want to do copywriting anymore, you've then got that base skill set to then work on and move forward with. Good examples are me, obviously, and then I couldn't really find any other examples of copywriters that I follow that do SEO except Jacob Macmillan. So this guy is great. He's one of the first copywriters I found when I started, and he doesn't really post too much anymore, and he does some like live streams and stuff, but his content's really honest, and I've taken a lot of inspiration from him because he just shows straight up what he does. He gives straight up advice. He doesn't sugarcoat things. He just tells you what you need to do. And he also had a similar journey that I did, where he started as a content writer online, like writing kind of blogs and stuff, and then moved into copywriting. And he's also really interesting to follow as well. He does like AI and things like that, and how like AI sort of infuses with human writing. So highly recommend. Okay, and the third one is brand copywriting. Now, this one is a little bit more classic. Okay, it's more like writing copy for brands and advertising. So, you know, Mad Men with Don Draper, he's a copywriter. He's the sort of old school, like, you know, writing an ad that will get, you know, thousands of purchases. That's what sort of copywriting used to be. And I think this is for more established businesses again, and it's for when they're genuinely trying to sort of come up with a new brand or new goods or products. So for example, if you go to like a big business and they're like, okay, we're rolling out a new product or a new brand, we've got a new thing that we're trying to roll out, and we need a copywriter. And I think for this one, I don't think it's for beginners personally. Not that beginners can't do it, but it's just because it requires business expertise and also just trust that you're going to do it. And I think if you are a copywriter in either email copywriting or SEO copywriting, it will just happen anyway. Brands will ask you to do their headlines anyway, because quite often, if I do a landing page or I do a new article, they will say to me, can you come up with a heading? Can you come up with a title for this page? Can you come up with our slogan? And I've actually now just recently got a new client that I am doing some brand copywriting for, but I haven't positioned myself as that. It's just that they know that if you can write well, you could probably come up with some good ideas. So, good example of this. Okay, there's many examples on LinkedIn. Almost none on YouTube. None really talk about this on YouTube, but they're all on LinkedIn. So if you go on LinkedIn, you follow this guy. He is the best brand copywriter out there. He is sick. He is so funny. He's so good. He's got a newsletter. It's great. Highly recommend it. Just follow Dave Harlan on LinkedIn. He's just the god of LinkedIn. So follow him. He's quality. He's really funny. And once you follow him, you'll see lots of other brand copywriters in the comments and that he follows and stuff like that. So you just need to follow him, really. The fourth type of copywriting is one that actually doesn't exist yet. So the reason I've got this fourth type in is because I want to explain to you guys that you don't have to pick something that's already been done. And what I mean by that is that copywriting is changing so quickly, and the internet is changing so quickly, and industry is moving so quickly that you don't need to necessarily decide that you don't need to necessarily decide what kind of copywriter you're going to be now. You can just get into copywriting and just see what's out there, because trust me, even in the last 5 years, there have been so many changes. Even in the last 2 years, there have been a crazy amount of changes. SEO has changed so much in the last 2 years, right? And now with AI, everything is all up in the air. Like, people are coming out with some crazy things with AI. They're doing really cool stuff. And I'll put a link for this specific article in the description if you want to read it. But I wrote recently about what I call certified authors. So this is trademark. So you heard it at first. Don't be stealing my term, right? I'll know about it. So certified authors is basically this concept that I have where Google has been revealed to now track authors across the board. So if you write articles online, your face and name is on a database in Google, and they are basically tracking what you do. So to me, this explains that, or this means that Google is now going to sort of reward people that consistently write on the internet all the time. So they're going to have essentially SEO power in themselves, right? This means that there will be so-called internet authors, so people that are professionals that can be trained in order to be the spokesperson for a brand in a technological way, because Google will then reward it. So simply by having your face and name on an article, it will do better and it will get more clicks for a brand. So I think that this is potentially going to be a new concept, which is going to be the sort of SEO copywriter 2.0. And then the other one is prompt engineers. So I've already been hit up by 2 or 3 people on LinkedIn about this, but there are basically writers that are training AI. And I think this is going to blow up as well, because AI is doing some crazy things. And I feel like people are going to want to make their own AI bots very quickly, and they're going to need people to train them on specific things, such as copywriting. So I can imagine that there will be prompt engineers for copywriting bots, and you will need to be a copywriter that will essentially train this bot. So yeah, the thing you need to remember is that, email was only invented in the 70s, only rolled out in the 80s. Google's only been around since the late 90s, early 2000s. Instagram's only been around since 2010, so less than 15 years, right? There are new apps all the time. There's new generations all the time. There's new things happening. Okay. You don't need to be just doing what I've done or what another copywriter's done. Try and think of other ways and other problems that businesses are going to have for the new age. I've seen Threads recently. I don't know anything about Threads at all. Do I need to be on Threads? Maybe you can tell me. Okay. Or there's apps that haven't been invented yet at all that you can then be a copywriter for. You can then be the expert for. You can then produce content for businesses that will go on that site. Because think, a lot of my clients are essentially older businesses that don't understand Google, because Google's so new. They were around before Google. Okay, they're not necessarily savvy with how Google works now. And it's the same thing with Instagram and social media marketing. That's why social media marketing is so successful, because you're selling to people that aren't experts in it, because they've been experts in their own industry, and now they're experts, and now they're going to you as an expert in the new industry. So you need to be constantly on the ball about what's new in copywriting, because you'll find an opportunity to be the expert in the new thing. So that's the end. Like I said, the article that I wrote about certified authors in my bio, it's on my Substack. Please sign up. It's completely free and you'll enjoy it, and it's for copywriters. So yeah, have a great day.